Hey, good morning, Jonathan.
Hey, Kia. Hey, I'm really looking forward to this meeting. We've met with so many staff, but we haven't seen all of our animals in their new homes for at all, hardly.
Yeah, look, it looks like a few folks have logged on. I'm going to open the meeting room. So I'm going to let in, looks like we got Vernal here joining us, Vernal
Yep.
the Pigeon,
Hello, Bruno.
Bearded Dragon, Spiky the Turtle. We're going to get our rabbits on board here. Let's get them in. Um, oh, Speedy, another turtle, getting ready to come on.
Good morning, everybody.
Who else is coming in?
Bonnie and Lorax are on. Oh, there's Waffle. Hi, Waffle.
All right, the crew's looking good.
Is everybody here?
I think so. We might have some latecomers. It was hard to get the Outlook appointment out to everyone. I got a few email bounce backs.
A lot of them, of the animals, were a little resistant to using Zoom at first, but they're getting the hang of it, I think.
It's true. I think that tutorial you gave to them all yesterday, that really helped.
Yeah. Well, let's start by checking in with Roxy, our bearded dragon. Roxy, I know when you first, I just want to see how you're doing. You used to live at the museum like everybody here, and now you're living with Nadia, our graphic designer. And I know at first you were a little shy about people when you first came to the museum, and then you grew to really like to be picked up and very social. Now life is a little slower, right? How are you spending your time? How are you feeling about being out of the museum? Huh? Perking up at that. Yeah. Misses a little bit, it looks like. Yeah. Napping a lot. I see. I'm sorry that we woke you up. But just, hang in there. Listen, I'm sure it's nice to see all the other animals. Let's see. We have Vernal, our homing pigeon. Now, I know you generally live with a lot of other pigeons, and now you're with Cheryl there. Must be tempting to fly back. I mean, that's kind of what you do, right? You might want to fly back to the museum.
Vernal's living at the museum right now, Jonathan.
Oh, that is the museum.
Yes,
Yeah.
Cheryl is. Cheryl is checking on the pigeons every few days. They're doing great.
I knew that they were generally living there. I thought that she had brought one home for this meeting, but Cheryl is actually in the museum. A few people go into the museum every now and then. It's mostly closed, and that's why the animals have come home. Sorry, Vernal. I didn't mean to upset you thinking about having
It
to
would be
leave
hard
the
to
whole
keep Vernal at Cheryl's house because the pigeons all want to get back to their home loft at the Children's Museum. So they're
Yeah,
staying at the museum roof. They're flying around free and getting fed and watered and cared for.
yeah.
Vernal's going to get trained soon. Vernal's a young pigeon, and when they get to be about 2 months old, they start their training to home back to the loft.
And then they carry messages. Vernal, I hear you can carry up to 20 messages that kids write. That's a pretty cool job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Who else do we have here? We've got a couple of turtles, right? So where's Spiky? Can we get a close-up of Spiky, Kia?
Here's Spiky. Here's
Spiky
Spiky's
is,
habitat.
yeah.
Spiky's shy. Sometimes
It's Spiky
introverted.
and Swimmy had a tiff. Is that right? Are those the two turtles that had a little bit of an argument?
Yeah, Spiky and Swimmy shared a tank for over 20 years. They date back to the Children's Museum's Leap into Lake exhibits on when the museum was on State Street. So the Spiky and Swimmy have been with the museum since the mid 1990s, and just in the past year, they needed to social distance themselves. They made it clear to us that it would work better for them to be in separate environments, and so they're each enjoying a private lodging now.
I wondered about Spiky, though, now that we've all had time to kind of hunker down and be more isolated and think about all sorts of things, if Spiky might miss Swimmy a little bit, and regret any of the fight that they had.
Well, it's nice they
did
can get
fight a lot.
together on Zoom right now and,
Yeah,
that way, virtually.
yeah. And I don't know that turtles feel a lot of regret. I wouldn't know. So let's see. We have also we have Swimmy here, or is no Swimmy is Swimmy couldn't make it to the
Speedy.
meeting today. Speedy
That's
is here.
Speedy.
Yes, and
Got Speedy.
Speedy is actually kind of doing what Speedy does. Though I hear Speedy gets his name from what he does on land more than in the water, but he looks like he's moving around quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Speedy, is it all the same? I mean, your tank is kind of the same. The water is the same temperature no matter where you are, right? Life is good? All right. Yeah. Now, Waffle, some big changes for you, right? Waffle is a chicken, and chickens live in groups with pecking orders, and and now Waffle's living with a different group of chickens. And also, and a cat. That's got to be different. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And also some other animals.
Yeah, Waffle is spending the safer at home, I think, with a couple of goats and a miniature donkey and a dog. Lots and lots of human friends out in the countryside a bit.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like an adventure, Waffle. I think you've got the most adjustments, and you look like you're doing great. I want, hats off to you if I had one. Yeah. You're looking great. Well, let's see. We've got Leo the turtle. I almost didn't notice you, Leo. You're so still.
Leo's a tortoise, yeah, and is much slower moving than our turtles.
Tortoises live a long time. Now, how old is Leo? I think I have that here. I know how old Leo is.
Oh, Leo. I know that being on Zoom camera isn't for everyone. It's not everyone's first choice.
But here he is.
That in a number of Zoom meetings.
You are an African Specs hingeback tortoise, and you are about 11 years old. And Leo, I met you, man, it must be 10 years ago now. You were a youngin'. You probably don't even remember when we met. But I did. I knew you when. I'm very proud to know you now, too. Okay, Leo. Yeah, if you need to leave. Everybody, by the way, Zoom etiquette, if you need to take off and take care of business, if you need to poop in a corner or something, that's what we all do. Just go and take care of business and come right back if you can. We understand.
We haven't checked in with Bonnie and Lorax yet. They're our rabbits.
Oh, they're favorites. I have a feeling that folks who visit the museum are really missing Bonnie and Lorax. Miss everybody. But you guys are so fuzzy. So Bonnie and Lorax, interesting story. You are now bonded tight as thieves, as bunnies, right? But you didn't start out that way, right? Like, what is their story? The museum put them together. They didn't grow up together.
They didn't. Lorax was adopted by the museum some time ago, and we decided that Lorax could use a companion, and it takes a while for rabbits to bond, and so they spent some time in separate enclosures, living near each other and spending a little bit more time together every day. They finally got happily settled into a new, bigger hutch at the museum just before we had to close the museum. So luckily, they're well socialized with one another. They, of course, are well socialized with kids because they live in a children's museum. And they're living now with our membership manager, Lily, and her family's chickens. So lots to make them feel familiar, like they're could be back at the museum practically.
Yeah. And, Bonnie, I know you really like to cuddle. The Lorax, not as much, which kind of makes sense for their names, right? The Lorax is a really admirable guy protecting the trees.
Jonathan, I'm just checking the chat. Leo, signed off briefly, but said, couldn't this have been an email? I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah, we could do things through email, but I miss you guys, right? We like to see your sort of smiling faces, your faces anyway. Does everybody have faces? Yes, checking. Everybody has a face. No amoebas or anything that we keep at the museum. Well, I think we checked in with everybody there. I guess we've heard from everybody. You all seem like you're doing well. So good to see you. I hope, and I know someday you'll be going back home. It's hard to explain what's keeping us away from the museum now, but this is what we need to do. We all need to isolate a little bit for now. And we look forward to when we can bring you back and we can all have a big party on the rooftop or wherever everybody lives on the rooftop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. And thanks, Kia. because you know so much about these animals. And thanks to
Oh,
everybody who has taken care of the animals at home. It was not an easy task to find a safe and welcoming place for everybody to leave the rooftop temporarily and go live someplace else for a while. But we have a lot of staff and friends and who are taking care of you, and it looks like they're doing a good job of it.
yeah. And I have I'll type up some meeting minutes, get them out to all of you, and also to the animals that weren't able to make the Zoom today. And we look forward to checking in again.
Oh, and for those of you who can read, I'm not sure if that's anybody, but if any of you can, I have an assignment too, and Kia will post that as well. And we'll talk about it at the next Zoom meeting.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Bye.